President, I move to take note of the minister's answer, and in that 5 minutes from the minister in relation to this attendance motion, we heard a number of personal slights and a real lack of detail that I would have expected that the Australian people would expect in terms of the explanation as to why the Treasurer, Mr Chalmers, told untruths to this Senate when he filed a public interest immunity claim. And the most disappointing thing here is that the government came to office promising integrity and transparency. But what we've seen has been a series of cover-ups to protect vested interests. Now, this has been a government for vested interests, and the reason I filed these claims in relation to freedom of information was because I was suspicious that the government for vested interests was having inappropriate lobbying from CBUS, the superannuation industry and various unions on matters of public policy. And I suspected correctly that this was happening. Now, the FOI request that went in March 2023 came back with a redacted response in September 2023, and then I filed an order for production of documents in the Senate, which was supported by the crossbench. And I want to put on record here my thanks to the crossbench for standing for integrity and transparency in relation to these matters when the government has failed to meet the standard that it set at the last election, when it promised it would be an organisation that would stand for transparency and integrity. In November 2023, the response to the OPD from Mr Chalmers was that the government would not release these files from CBUS to the Treasurer, and there was a public interest immunity claim from the Treasurer which said that disclosure of documents sought would provide an unfair advantage into CBUS's private opinions and business affairs, that this would destroy commercial and confidence information. Now, we appealed that to the Information Commissioner in November 2023, and we received the outcome in August 2024 and the documents just last week. So it took 18 months to get access to a document which had been provided by CBUS to the Treasurer, which was inappropriate lobbying, had nothing to do with commercial and confidence information. And this is an incredible position that we're now in, that the Treasurer of the Commonwealth would make a false claim to the Senate, a lie, that there was commercial and confidence information provided by CBUS when there was none. There was none. So the PII claim was falsely made, and the Information Commissioner itself said, I do not accept that the remaining material would cause detriment if it were disclosed. The remaining material does not contain commercial information about the fund.
Sorry, just resume your seat. Sorry. Minister?
Sorry, Acting Deputy Speaker. President, I just ask, I believe Senator Bragg said the Treasurer lied, and if so, that should be withdrawn.
Thank you, Senator Bragg.
There was a significant mistruth here that the Treasurer has presented in relation to this PII claim, and the Information Commissioner said there was no commercial information and it should be released. Thank God for the Information Commissioner, because without the Information Commissioner we wouldn't have this information in the public domain. Now, yesterday, Senator Chisholm said that CBUS had objected to the release of these documents, and that's why the government didn't release them. But it's not up to CBUS to run the government. The government should be run by the people that have been elected by the Australian people, and the judgment was up for the Treasurer to make, in accordance with Senator Gallagher, that these matters were not commercial in confidence and they should have been provided in accordance with the order made by the Senate. There was no commercial in confidence information. This information was all about a secret lobbying attempt so that CBUS could exempt itself from disclosing fees to members. They didn't want to show their members that they were incurring stamp duty costs when they were investing in property, because they are so desperate to become the corporate landlords of Australia. They want to own the Australian dream, and the Labor government have sought to help them cover up this secret lobbying with a cloak of commercial in confidence which was not there. So that is why it is very important that we get to the bottom of this, and that's why I thank again the crossbench for helping us bring on this motion. Because, as former Senator Patrick said in a piece on the weekend, how is it that Mr Bragg, as a private citizen, can get documents on FOI that Senator Bragg could not get under the powers of the Senate?
Hear, hear.
And Patrick goes on to say, ultimately, Chalmers' Senate betrayal is a betrayal of the Australian people, who are the real source of the Senate's power and purpose. Now, I think that is really the summary here, that we are here to do the work of the public. We're here to expose wrongdoing, get to the bottom of things, and we're being obstructed by a government that promised integrity and transparency. This is a false public interest immunity claim, had nothing to do with commercial and confidence information. It was all about secret lobbying, which the Treasurer is ashamed of.